Hello and welcome to Radically Aligned. Oh, I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me. My name's Vicki. I'm going to be your host. We're going to be exploring all things alignment in business and in your soul. We're going to be bringing together some amazing episodes to help you cultivate the alignment that works for you so you can have soul-aligned business success. But more importantly, we're also going to be bringing in guests for interviews so you can learn not just from me, but from experts all over the world. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Radically Aligned Business podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Chisholm, and I have got the amazing Lisa Williams from the Vision Board Queen. Lisa doesn't just do vision boards though. Oh no, she also hosts the UK Women and Teens Womanifest, and that is happening in July and can't wait for that. But Lisa, do you want to tell everyone a little bit more about you before I start waffling on about anything else?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me, Vicky. It is lovely to be here and to be in this aligned space, which is incredible. So, I am Lisa Williams, also known as the Vision Board Queen, and I help women in business create the blueprints for their dream life so that they can live the life and freedom that they desire. And I do this through several ways. So, I do this through helping them create the board itself and then helping them take the steps to achieve those dreams and those desires. That can be through coaching, through my book, through my podcast, through various different ways to help them take those steps that they need to align with to achieve those dreams and those desires. And like you said, I also run the festival called Womanifest, which is a festival for women and teen girls to help them be inspired, feel empowered, educate them, liberate and entertain them. And that is a wellbeing festival based in Cheshire.
Oh, I love it. I love what Lisa does. So Lisa's branding online is all about literally vision boards and wearing the crown and owning everything that you desire and making it a reality. And I think this is such powerful, potent work, especially when it comes to being in alignment with your space. How many times have you manifested shit you don't fucking want? Like bills coming through in the post because you're focusing on all the crap, or you've manifested things going really well, but your subconscious has then decided that because things are going well, we've got sabotage. So it brings you something like a shower will burst or a pipe will burst or something along the way. When things just tend to like have this domino effect and go in the opposite direction. But Lisa, could you tell us a little bit more about what it is for you that got you into vision boarding in the first place? Because it's quite a unique thing to do, and not everyone has truly fully understood it, I don't think, anyway.
No, so I was introduced to vision boarding very early in what I would call my personal development journey. So I began that journey through a very dark phase in my life. I'd gone through several miscarriages and I was very much not who I am today. I was in a dark place. I was unhappy. I hated myself. I hated my body. And I was introduced to the world of personal development. And I decided to make some changes because I needed to learn to love myself. Because I was physically looking in the mirror and I hated myself. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was worthy of being able to carry my own children or anything like that. So I was introduced to personal development, and it was one book that really stood out to me at the very beginning of my journey, and that was called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. And I assume a lot of your readers probably would have heard of that already. And I started to look for those universal signs, and I started to align my energy with what I wanted to attract into my life. So I started writing, positive affirmations about me and my body, and I started to attract that back in, and I started to eventually learn to love myself. It wasn't a quick journey, it wasn't an overnight success, but it took time, and it took a lot of my positive thinking to be able to do that. So through that journey, I was then introduced to obviously the law of attraction, vision boarding, and I created my first vision board, my very first vision board in 2018. And I absolutely fell in love with the process. I completely loved it. And because I'd already been using the universe as a guide, as a tool, as a someone who I would talk to, when I created the vision board, I instantly connected with that through my own journey of working with the universe. And one of the very first things that I put on a vision board was a selfie with Gary Barlow. I'm not sure if you've heard this story before, Vicky. I am a massive Take That fan. I have been ever since I was 9 years old. And Gary Barlow has always been my teenage crush as such as it was back then. And I got a ticket. So I put this picture on there, and then I got a ticket to his book launch event. And I was like, this is like getting a ticket was even near impossible because there was only 1,000 tickets available. And the Take That fan base was huge. So you had to register to be in with a chance of getting a ticket. So the first step was obviously I got a ticket. I was going to be in a room that's like he was in close proximity. So the chance of getting that selfie became even more closer. And then at the event, there was going to be 10 golden tickets inside his books. And the people with the golden tickets would get a meet and greet with him. And I didn't get a golden ticket in my book, but my friend who I took with me did. And originally, I was meant to take that buddy friend with me.
Mm.
And she couldn't make it last minute. So I dragged a friend along because I didn't want to go on my own. And she wasn't a Take That fan. She just came to come with me to support me. So she gave me that golden ticket. So everything kind of planned to get that for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I think once that happened, that was probably like my least likely thing that I could have told myself. If you had that negative voice saying, that's never going to happen. You're never going to get that selfie. That was probably that least one that would ever have happened. Anything else you can work towards, you can save money for, you can do the actions, whereas I couldn't have done any actions for that to happen.
Mm.
Only be aligned with it and believe it was going to happen.
Yeah, and that's magical, isn't it? I
Yeah.
when I first think about law of attraction, I don't feel or believe that I'd ever manifested anything in my entire life until I decided I wanted to learn a motorbike. I had no idea what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, or even how I was going to generate the money for it because I'd just closed down my other business. I was in training, so I'd gone back to like student world again, and I was like, oh, how am I going to justify this? Within 48 hours of making that decision, I was called to phone a friend and asked her if she was going to bingo. She goes a lot of the times, and I was free and just wanted to get out of the house. That night, I walked away with a jackpot,
Amazing.
and it was quite a significant amount of money, which enabled me to buy a bike, do my training, get all the safety gear, and within 3 months, I was riding a motorbike. And it made me realize of the power that we have when we set intention, but also doing it with unshakable conviction. And this is part of my adapt breakthrough strategy that I've built since 2019, is that you can have anything you want, but you've got to be able to make that decision. So I go through the awareness, knowing what you want, the decision, linking it to the ambition, the purpose, and the transformation that you're looking for. But I find with manifesting, a lot of people will struggle because they're too busy feeding the doubt and the fears. How
Yeah.
would you suggest that someone overcomes that from your perspective and your experience?
Yeah, so first of all, they need to recognize what the doubt and the fears are. Like, what are they? Where have they come from? So, some really powerful journaling exercises would work with this. So, really diving in and deep diving into what is that, what is that doubt, what is that fear, where have they come from, and
Mm.
it, recognizing that, then you can start implementing the tools to change that. So rechanging your mindset, like rewording how you speak to yourself and how you tell yourself, using positive affirmations to help you reframe that mind that you've obviously been led to believe that that's true, and that's okay. It's not anything wrong. We can't go back and change how we've been brought up to think certain things,
No.
but what we do have the power is we have the power to change the future of that. We
Mm.
have the power to change that cycle and create a new way of thinking. And I always recommend adding affirmations that you need onto your vision board as well. So, for example, if you had a vision of achieving a certain goal, like a financial goal, and your belief system is telling you that you can't achieve that, and that you've got some money mindset blocks in terms of like fear of success, fear of having money, fear of it being taken from you, because people have built money and then it's been taken from them. So these
Absolutely.
fears are okay, they're not wrong, but add in that affirmation to help you like reprogram that, linked with that vision on the vision board. That can be really powerful way of helping reprogram the mind.
Mhm. And I love that. I love the fact that you've gone to the mind and reprogramming it. So, one of my favorite quotes is, your mindset isn't everything, your energy is. And it's the energy that feeds the mind that enables you to either proceed or stay stuck where you are. And I think sometimes that part gets missed when it comes to changing your mind as well, because it's not as simple as just reprogramming the brain, is it? I mean, if it was, everyone would be doing it, and 90% of people resist it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. But with the journaling, I found that that has quite a deep subconscious transformation in itself. And sometimes when you're writing, you literally just, it's like having a brain dump, isn't it? You're just getting rid of all the crap out of your brain, and then you're just letting it all go, and then you're carrying on with your day. But what that actually does on a subconscious level is way more potent, because it actually releases the stories that you've been holding and sets them free. So you're no longer trapped in that. But is there any other modalities or anything you use, Lisa, or have tried that have worked for you in the past when it comes to creating that vision? And sorry, just for context, one of the things that I see a lot with people when they're doing vision, especially in the entrepreneurial space, is they actually play small with their vision. They don't allow themselves to dream bigger. So, in that context, have you tried any other modalities to help people look beyond where they are right now and actually look at the bigger visions that they're trying to create?
Yeah, so obviously journaling is something that I always recommend, and that's a way that they can deep dive deeper. A meditation, going through a meditation process. This is something that I will always do if I hold a workshop space. I will always do a meditation first to allow the subconscious to open up with what people actually want. I do use crystals quite a lot myself with especially for like energy work around your visions and like the manifestation side.
Yeah.
So crystals work really well. I'm also a really good fan of cards, and I know you've got your own deck of cards as well. So I'm also a really good fan of like oracle cards too. Sometimes we get those messages that we don't know that we need them,
Yeah.
and an oracle card can really help us open that mind to look at that, whereas before we might not have looked at that.
Mm.
So those are probably the things that I do on a regular basis. And I have tried over like in energy work. I've worked with Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner as well. I'm a journaling practitioner, so I do a lot of things around that. Although I don't actually practice Reiki on people, I do use it for myself and my own energies,
Mm.
because I do think that when we're working with our vision board, if our energy is down here and our vision board energy is up here, they don't match.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do as well on my workshop is a wheel of vibration.
Okay.
So it's you might have heard it in terms of the wheel of life.
Yeah.
Um, so I call it the wheel of vibration. So we look at different areas of our life and we look at where we are vibrating now and what we can do to help increase that vibration. And that gives people the opportunity to look at particular areas of their life that could be pulling their energies let down. So
Mhm.
when we're working with our vision board, if we've got something pulling us down, then we're not going to be able to work on a high vibration to attract those dreams and those desires.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I love that. The wheel of vibration. It's not one that I've heard before, but I think you're right on there. And it does come in with frequency. And when your frequency is elevated and vibrant, you tend to attract more of the things that you do want. Whereas when your frequency and vibration is of a lower entity, it's a lot harder to climb back out of that as well. So thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa. Can we just swap over a little bit? So I know vision boarding is like a massive part of what you do and how you work with people in the community, especially as business owners as well. But more importantly, um, was Womanifest ever on your vision board?
No, no, it was not. So that's a really good question, Vicky. It is now, but it wasn't. However, what I did have on there is I am creating events and communities where women come together.
There you go.
So it was on there, just not in the context of the name Womanifest.
Yeah, isn't that amazing how it's come together? And
Yeah.
you're really good at space holding and bringing people together in their own ways as well, which I think is really beautiful. And everybody needs to have their own little space. And I'm going to touch base on something, take a minute to answer it, but I think it's a conversation that needs to occur. At the moment, we've got a lot going on with gender.
Yeah.
And personally, my view is I don't give a hoot what your background is, how you identify, or anything like that in the human form. What I care about is the soul connection. But obviously, Womanifest is very female dominant. In terms of inclusivity and working with the changes around the world that we're seeing happening today, how is this going to be navigated moving forward? Because Woman I Fest was the original name of the event. It's amazing. It's got a really good reputation. It's there to support and empower. But in terms of the diversities that we're seeing at the moment, especially with the most recent government legislations, how are you going to manage that moving forward?
So, I can't even say it myself. Womanifest has always been inclusive for all. It's never been just women.
Okay,
It never will be just women. We
right,
are inclusive. We are open for all. So men, women, however you identify, can attend. It is in our inclusivity guides, which is on the website. So
brilliant.
we are not just exclusive for women. And if you because of how it's said, people automatically think it is just women because it's got Womanifest.
Yeah,
Yeah. But if you think of it as a woo manifest, yeah,
yeah.
woo manifest, as in like woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I'm
Yeah.
there.
And that was the original setup of it. But obviously, woman kind of comes because some people do pronounce it woman I fest
Yeah. See,
because they think,
that's what I think it would be a great not rebrand because you're keeping it together, but just adding an extra ooh. Because I honestly thought predominantly it is just for women and teen girls. There wasn't anything that was just my perception. Obviously, I haven't gone
yeah,
through
because
inclusivity, it's not within my remit, but
our talks and workshops are focused on women and teen girls, but
yeah,
there is nothing to say that people cannot come.
yeah,
Okay,
okay,
we have
thank you.
never said we are only women
Yeah,
only. Like we've got a male speaker this year. We've got male people. We've
yeah,
always had male people helping out behind the scenes. The tech people are male. The people who serve food, a lot of them are the males. So we've never been only women allowed.
yeah,
But again, if you are coming and you are a transgender or you are a male and you think you would enjoy it, you just have to pick what's going to be right for you because going into a womb session isn't going to be something that you would enjoy. However, some men may enjoy a menopause session so that they can understand their wife better.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get
So
it. And I
it
love that.
really is that, there is something for everybody.
Yeah.
There is a lot of sessions that are focused more for women. And for example, Matt Hughes, I know you know Matt Hughes,
Yeah.
and he came to me and said he was interested in speaking. He goes, but is it just women? And I said, no, we're open for all. Am I okay to be a speaker? I was like, absolutely. Women still need to do videos. Women still want to do TikToks. Women still want to be on YouTube. So
Yeah.
what you've got to say out of your mouth is valuable for all of those women.
Exactly.
So it's very much, and I do get that obviously our marketing is to women because that is our ideal client, but we do
Yeah.
not exclude anybody else.
No, and I love that. And I love that. And I just sometimes I feel personally, sometimes I just feel really overwhelmed with all the different legislations and things that are coming out because we're expected to know everything as business owners, but also like we also have our own perceptions of things as well. Like I honestly predominantly thought it was just a women and children's thing. I thought it'd been built around keeping women and children, women and teens safe and things like that. But that was just how my initial perception was. Doesn't mean my perception was correct. It just means that that's what I've perceived. That's how my brain has put it through a lens. And everybody has the same thing. But it's also the same with visions, isn't it? Everyone has their own vision, everyone has their own belief, everyone has their own perceptions. And I love the fact that you include everybody. I love the fact that you're opening this up. And I'm personally a huge fan of Womanifest, and I've never even been before, but I've seen the magic that's been created. I've seen the spaces that get held, and that's why I'm coming along this year. I'm bringing my own teenagers as well. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. It's going to be quite,
It's going to be such an amazing 2 days. It
yeah,
really is.
it's going to be awesome.
And
So,
it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to go and get bigger.
yeah,
And that's the ripple, isn't it? There might be a male father who has two teenage girls out there and they're welcome to come along. We'd never say no.
yeah.
The only time that we do try and like reduce is obviously younger children under the age of 10 because there isn't going to be anything that they can really enjoy, if that
Yeah.
makes sense, because it is aimed for over 10 in terms of teens.
Yeah. And a lot of the activities are a lot more mature, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, some of the activities go and walk on Lego. We do that every day at home when you've got little ones, don't you? It's like
yeah.
hell, but doing it from a different perspective, walking on fire. And think I saw one of the experiences, but like walking on glass. There's
Yeah.
paddle boarding, there's wild water swimming. There's just so much to get your teeth into and to enjoy for Womanifest. But Lisa, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for the podcast today because I love hearing about how other people bring manifestation and desires and focus and really dive deep into the transformation of who they are to create what it is that they want. I love hearing those stories. Don't because I just find sometimes that out here in the real world, majority of people will just focus on the things that are causing them problems in their life rather than focusing on the things that they actually want. And therefore, that creates a stagnation. But in the entrepreneurial space, I find that a lot more people are willing to actually focus on the desires and the things they want. And sometimes they just need a helping hand navigating the best ways to make those things happen. And I think the work that you're doing is so, so vital, not only in the community, but in the online space.
Thank you, Vicky.
You're welcome. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. I know we've only really touched base on just a few of the things and the ways that you work, but I think the topics of conversation today have been quite thought-provoking. So thank you so much for joining me, being open and being willing to be a little bit vulnerable. And for everybody else listening in, go and check out Lisa. Where will everyone find you?
So you can find me on Facebook under Lisa Williams, and Instagram is Lisa Williams, Vision Board Queen, and I think I'm Vision Board Queen on TikTok as well. And then my website, which is lisawilliams-lmg.co.uk.
And of course, you can go and get your tickets to Woman I Fest.
Yeah.
Do not miss
Well,
out on those because you absolutely want to be in the room.
yes, Womanifest will be found on any of my socials. So if you do go and check them out, you'll see the details there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lisa. And to those listening, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great day.
That's a wrap for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and we'll see you in the next one. All these episodes are created in line with my book, Radically Aligned. Go check it out on Amazon, grab a copy and let's get you started. At the back of the book, they'll also find a QR code where you'll get access to some amazing resources. You don't want to miss it. See you in the next episode.